Westuhal min Freon and welcome to another video. We have been observing quite a shift in heroic storytelling lately, and especially in the character of the hero in pop culture in general, in films, in television, in literature, in comic books. And it seems to me, and to many other people as well, that there has been a shift from the focus on the actual storytelling and the story to be grasping and intriguing, and the hero to be heroic, so to speak, a hero to be an aspirational character that you could identify with, that you could sympathize with, and that you could understand. 3 words, really, that the filmmakers and creators and publishers and writers and screenwriters and film studios are using all over and over again, and that is inclusion, representation, and diversity. There are, of course, quota that need to be fulfilled in every single book, in every single film, in every single TV show. You have to put in your work of art every single group of humanity that is possible, except for the white man, it seems to me. But let's go back. Let's look at when literature was still grasping and intriguing, when people actually enjoyed the story, when people wrote the story for the sake of the story itself. A beautiful and extraordinary escapism. Look at Tolkien. Let us use Professor Tolkien as an example, and I think that a lot of people, most of you, will agree that The Lord of the Rings is a perfect representation of an escapist, heroic story. As he himself said, that he wanted to write a stupendously long story that would hold the attention of the reader for a considerable amount of time. And it has indeed. It has been one of the most popular novels, not only fantasy novels, but novels in general, for more than 60 years. Why? Because he wrote it in a traditional and a conservative manner. He went all the way back to the Middle Ages, and besides the fact that he wanted to write his Arda stories and The Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion and The Hobbit as a series of legends and myths for England, his own country, because he knew that England did not have much of the natural and native stories left. After all, Beowulf is Scandinavian, and King Arthur is, well, Norman, French, and Welsh. So he wanted to do that. Let's put that away. Let's also put that away, the fact that he wanted to write a clearly and just and purely escapist story, which he, of course, managed. But how did he manage to grasp the attention of so many readers and the popularity that it did get? Well, of course, he was a very good writer, right? You have to be talented. He wrote it his entire life, almost, so, hard work. But the technique that he used, let's focus on the technique. He went to the oldest kind of literature, to the oldest kind of heroic, adventure literature. And he used the idea and the concept of the journey, the quest. The quest with an object, somewhere. The quest to a place, to save something or to find something. We can go all the way to the Odyssey. It is all about the quest, isn't it? We can go back to the Anglo-Saxon literature, when the seafarer and the wanderer, one of the greatest poems, were about a journey, were about the quest. We can go all the way back to the Arthurian legends. By the way, the best versions probably was compiled by Sir Thomas Malory in his Le Morte d'Arthur, where the Knights of the Round Table were always on a quest somewhere, were meeting foes and friends on the way. And it is always grasping, always intriguing. you know, always interesting to read. A story about a quest, a journey. Andrzej Sapkowski used it in his The Witcher series a lot as well. When Geralt went somewhere with Jaskier, you know, to save Ciri, really. And on the way, they met elves and vampires and wood women, you know, from the forest, warriors, female warriors from the forest, like, you know, the Middle European Sapkowskian Amazons. And that's always, you know, interesting. And there's, you know, something at the end that you have to do, something hard, something unimaginably dangerous, such as throwing the ring into the fire of Mount Doom. So this is the first aspect of the greatness of the technique of how The Lord of the Rings was written. And then we have the other one, and that is very important. The hero, the character of the hero, who is, of course, the main character of the story, the protagonist. The Lord of the Rings is also very specific in that it has multiple heroes, such as it was in the Arthurian legends. King Arthur was not the only hero, not by far, no. There was Sir Lancelot, there was Sir Gawain, and so on and so forth. Here we've got, I would say, 3 main heroes. We've got Frodo, and we've got Aragorn, and we've got Sam. But we could, of course, look at it from a different point of view. Because usually, when the Fellowship of the Ring divides, it is broken up into 3 parts. We follow Frodo and Sam, we follow Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli, and we follow Merry and Pippin. So as you can see, The Lord of the Rings really has multiple heroes, not just one. So the arguments and the fights over who's the hero of The Lord of the Rings, like Frodo or Sam, or if Frodo wouldn't get anywhere without Sam, these are pointless arguments, because it is a story about a war for the ring. And wars are always team efforts, so to speak. It was obviously a team effort, you know. Somebody must have brought the ring to the Fire of Doom. Somebody must have fought Mordor and the armies of Isengard and the armies of Barad-dûr. Somebody must have sent the Ents to destroy Orthanc, or, you know, Isengard. Or destroy, you know, chase Saruman away. But what's so intriguing about the heroes of Tolkien? Well, it is quite obviously the fact that they are the proper heroes, properly written. And there we can go back to the old Greeks, to the old Greek philosophers and writers such as Aristotle and Plato, who were talking about or writing about the theory of catharsis. What's catharsis? Well, it's a feeling, it's a technique that is used in tragedy at the time, but more later than in literature in general and in films. And that's when the hero, the protagonist of the story, goes through suffering and trials and tribulations, and it is a flawed hero, and we sympathize with the character. We feel sorry for the character. We go through the adventures with the character, and we feel the same as the character does, if the story is written properly. And through these experiences, then, we come out cleansed, purified. And then we are even happier when the hero reaches their successful end of the story. So these are the 3 main aspects of why The Lord of the Rings is so good and why it brought such a popularity to Professor Tolkien. It was masterfully written because he was talented, he was a genius, he worked hard. He used one of the oldest kinds of story, and that's the quest, the journey. And because he wrote his heroes the way, well, they work the best. Through pain and suffering. He used catharsis. So I think that if there are creators who want to be popular today, they should try to think about this and go back to the good old traditional way of storytelling. And they will gain even more popularity, even more readers and viewers than they have so far. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about all this, and that will be all. Thank you very much for watching, and Namarie.